And welcome back to the fourth pair. I'm your host Sam Meehan with my co-host Alex Skarzinski. Alec, how are you doing on this beautiful Monday night?
Chilling, how's it hanging, everyone? Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, we've been on a brief hiatus. We've both got our stuff going on. Got a little busy, but also wasn't the most eventful week in hockey that we missed. So, we're back now and we'll get back in the groove of things. Let's get right into it here. What do we want to start out with? Let's
Into
start
some
out
headlines, yeah.
Yeah, we'll start out with some headlines around the league. Let's start out with the disaster that is the Buffalo Sabres. So, some high hopes going into this year from the Sabres after signing Taylor Hall to a one-year deal. They still got Jack Eichel, a bunch of other guys that you would expect should be playing or playing well, I should say. Um, but you're not going to have success when Jimmy Vesey has the same amount of goals as your top line that earns about $25 million a year. Never a good thing. Jack Eichel has not scored a goal against anybody in the league except the New York Rangers, where I think he has two or three.
It's pretty pathetic, especially considering that the Rangers' two goalies are both pretty new.
But that's just like a good omen, If Eichel's playing well against the Rangers, probably means he can play well with the Rangers. So we'll see that. We'll see that next season. Our new top center, but we'll get there later. But
Yeah, so I only have kind of two thoughts on the matter. The first one is Taylor Hall, all he ever wanted was to play for a legitimate cup contender, and all he's ever gotten is nothing. So I feel like there's some alternate universe somewhere where he stayed loyal to his New Jersey Devils and they won a cup together. Somewhere out there, there's
I
some
mean, I
alternate
feel like it's
universe.
more likely that he would have stayed, in Edmonton, and Edmonton doesn't trade him one for one for Adam Larson, but
Adam Larson, that was honestly, they got fleeced.
the
He's the
most
ultimate.
iconic tweet in NHL history is just Bob McKenzie. The tweet, the trade is one for one, and just Devils fans just lost their minds, rightfully so. Like, you give up a defenseman that they knew was not that good, and they get a legit superstar who won the Hart. I think was that his second year in New Jersey, maybe third.
uh, Second
How long
year.
was he there? But
He was
um,
there for maybe 4 years. I think he got some. I think he averaged like more than like a point a game or something like
yeah,
that.
he won a Hart Trophy there, and then
Yeah.
dragged them to the playoffs just to get their ass kicked
But
by
then
Tampa. But that
But then my
happens.
second thought about this Buffalo situation is well, not only did they also get fleeced for Ryan O'Reilly and they got a bag of pucks, but what do you give for Eichel? What is the maximum amount you would trade away to get him? Because he's probably a top player when he's playing at his
Oh
best, but right
yeah,
now his trade value is probably down. So this might sort of be this might be like buying the dip in the stock market right now. Like if you're
yeah.
able to trade for him. So what would like the maximum amount be that you would give
So
away
I'm
for?
gonna treat this like I'm a car salesman or something. Let me introduce you to in what 2015 had ranked as one of the top 20 prospects in NHL. Let me introduce you to Brett Howden, who has zero. I think he has 1 point this season or something.
I don't even know what team he's on.
He's on the Rangers, and he somehow gets minutes still, and he does not do. He's literally getting some cardio out there, and but if I think Eichel would thrive in a big market, so I think teams like the Rangers, the Kings,
Mm.
um, I think would be two great spots for him. I think those are the top two spots that I could see him landing because both of them have a ton of assets, both like in future draft capital and like prospects. So if obviously I'm going to talk about the Rangers because I'm more familiar with with all that, all their farm system and whatnot. So probably for that, it's gonna start with two first round picks.
Hmm.
That's a starting point. Then I need a few prospects. I mean, I look at I get some. I'll see some Buffalo guys and some mentions on Twitter after someone says, "Oh, come to the Rangers," like stuff like that, and then like, "Oh, we better start with Lafreniere and Capo Caco," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"All right, what?"
probably.
Yeah, no, I think they can make a trade without either of them in part of the trade.
I think it would be foolish to include either of your first round picks that haven't even gotten the chance to develop yet.
And
I would much
they are
rather,
starting to figure it out as of late.
yeah,
Like Capo Caco is playing with so much confidence, and Lafreniere has is a point per game player with fans in the stands so far. So
yeah. I was busting your balls a lot about Lafreniere, and I'm happy that he's playing well because obviously I'm not wishing bad on anyone. It's just fun to bust some balls, and it's cool to see a young player put on for his city like that.
But
And
do you know who's really playing himself into some draft value? Way out in Russia is the Rangers 2018 I think it was 2018 seventh overall pick Vitaly Kravtsov,
ooh,
who has been a
okay.
stud out in the KHL, and he's supposed to join the Rangers once the season's over, but he's playing so well in the playoffs right now that might not end anytime soon.
Well, I mean, speaking of our favorite teams, players in Russia, Klim Kostin for the Blues is on pace to be Rookie of the Year in the KHL. So, but I think he just got injured, which is just a likely story for the Blues that hail from St. Louis this season. I mean, they're just plagued with injury. But I rant about that way too much. So let's please move on to our dear friend in Washington, Tom Wilson.
Oh my goodness! So I'm assuming if you're watching this, you have seen the hit that Tom Wilson put on Boston's Brandon Carlo. I believe it was Saturday night. I mean, it's getting ridiculous with this guy. Like it's every time it's a little slap in the wrist. 7 games here, 10 games here, even 20 games at, like sometimes. But like it's clearly not working. This discipline, how we all know how great the NHL player safety team is.
Oh yeah, no, I
Those
love the NHL
morons.
player safety. I am a casual fan of the sport and I can guarantee that I would do a better job than them.
At so like you gotta. I think this should have resulted in a year's suspension just because of his track record. Not that like he's had worse hits, definitely,
Yeah, but
but
he
the
has a
fact that
huge history.
he keeps doing this, like he was hot, like Brandon Carlo went straight to the hospital. He was there for over a day. So at some point, you gotta like lay down the law. Like, hey, enough is enough. If you really want people to take you seriously with your punishment, not you gotta suspend him for at least a season, if not to kick him out of the league altogether.
Yeah, but they clearly just don't care about being respected based on past missed calls or other calls. Like Ovechkin sack tapped a dude, got like a $5,000 fine, and then the guy that had that blatant slew foot, I forget which team it was, but he literally kicked the legs out from some guy, and
Hmm.
he got a less amount fine than Alexander Ovechkin hitting someone in the nads with his stick. Like,
Yeah, after he got slashed like 1,000 times, it's like who even knows who the fuck this guy is that was going after uh Ovi? Like I don't think Ovi knew who he was. He just looked at him like he
yeah,
just like
like
little sack tap.
NHL player safety is just probably blacked out with the stuff that they're doing. It's just ridiculous at this point. And I just think Tom Wilson, like, it's not that the suspension wasn't enough for what he did. It's the history that he has.
That's the
Like,
thing.
there's times where I'm rooting for him because I like him, but then he goes and does that, and I just can't. I don't know. It's
Like
just
I'll
something
see,
needs to happen for him to stop doing it.
I'll see a ton of tweets like, "Oh, every team would love Tom Wilson on their team." Like, yeah, he's a good player and all, but that's a different conversation from what we're talking here.
But also, would you love to be down a man for 5 minutes straight? Like,
Exactly. Like he's a bit of a liability, obviously. Like he's a great player. Like for like a guy like him that has delivered big hits, he is pretty skilled. He's a good goal scorer and all
and I've
that.
heard he's a great guy off the ice too. It's just
Yeah, I'm
he gets
sure he
some
is,
kind
but
of
like
fire
at
in him,
some
and
point, like you gotta figure like something's not clicking with him and the NHL player safety. Either up the suspensions, you gotta. I think it's got to be it. I think that what he'll get it if he's suspended for an entire season.
yeah, because it just seemed like I was watching part of that game too. He was doing fine, and then he got maybe a little of a cheap shot, and just the blood just started boiling. You could tell he started
Mm-hmm.
headhunting and stopped playing the puck and just went and just absolutely obliterated that guy.
Yeah,
But
it almost that's what it seems like. He gets a bit of a temper if like he's getting like hit a little bit, and then like, hey, I'm gonna try to take your fucking head off.
yeah, it's kind of like playing like Pop Warner football. Like no one can really hit that hard, but then you feel like someone cheap shots you and you just try and take their head
Hmm.
off, but you're 5 years old, so you don't really do that much. But in this case, it's a grown man getting paid millions of dollars. So I guess it's not like that at all, actually.
I mean,
But
don't get me wrong. Back in I mean, you remember playing like the box lacrosse in the winter.
oh yeah,
Like I'd get like some cheap hits here and there, but I'm not going like try to hospitalize them. I'm gonna hit them in the nuts or like maybe hit them in the back of the calf or something.
yeah, yeah. Or like you push their socks down with your stick, so they have to keep
Yeah.
fixing it, and they just get really aggravated. I love doing that.
That's my favorite thing. I played midfield, so I was always doing that. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Or you push
um,
down their elbow pads. Oh man.
yeah, it's not about
Uh,
like the big hits and all that. It's all about just like subtle mind games.
it's in the end, I think it's like mostly a mind game. So no reason to be a jerk like that and ruin everyone's fun. Because then people get worried. No one's enjoying the game. They're busy watching a guy get carted off the ice. In this case, he walked off or skated off, which is great. You gotta love that. But
Hmm.
man, you just gotta. You're a professional. Just be a professional.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get into some segments here then.
Yeah, let's get some segments here. Want to do the mascots first?
Yeah, so this was a big hit last episode, so I'm gonna bring it back. Just a quick recap. When teams are tied point wise, the tiebreaker goes to point differential, and I think that is boring. It's 2021. We have technology. We are the elite animals in the world. We're humans. We have opposable thumbs. So why can't we think of a more fun tiebreaker? So my proposal to the NHL is that the mascots of the respective teams fight to the death. And right now, we only have two ties in the league points wise. Teams are starting to find their identity. So the first tie is 25 points apiece. The Kings of LA and the Arizona Coyotes out in the desert. We got Bailey the Lion for the Kings and Howler the Coyote for the Coyotes. What do you think, Sam?
Well, first thought is I feel like a lion would destroy a coyote, but let me see these specific ones. Okay, so here in L.A., he looks feisty there. He's got a little like
He's the
his
king of the
hair is a little
jungle.
over the place. He got those teeth. Whereas in Arizona, it looks like a coyote that was designed by Disney. So right here, I'm gonna have to go with L.A. In an upset.
See, so normally
Actually, no,
I
not in an
would
upset. The lion would beat the coyote.
normally I think the lion is a trap here because it's a lion, king of the jungle, big bad scary cat, but it's a lion from LA. So he's probably got
Oh,
that
from
satchel
L.A.
across his chest. He's got ripped jeans. He's more worried about his Instagram followers than surviving. So he probably if he died, he'd probably post a selfie, be like, "LOL, got killed by a coyote." So I'm going with Howler here.
I like the logic there, but just looking at the two of them, like I Howard looks a little too happy-go-lucky for me. Like I said, it looks like he was signed by Disney,
You
so
see what your problem is? You're judging a book by a cover.
that's fair. So
Howler's
Howard,
from
prove
Arizona,
me
bro.
wrong.
He's got grit. He's got grit. All right. So moving on, the other tiebreaker in the league is over in the East, otherwise known as instead of the West, it's in the East. It's a 29 points apiece. We got Blades the Bruin up in Boston, and we got Iceberg the Penguin over in Schittsburg. Sorry, Pittsburgh.
All right, so first impressions. This penguin from Pittsburgh looks like a bitch. Like you look at him, he looks scared. He already looks scared. He got his eyes a little little cross-eyed there. Looks just goofy. Definitely fun, be around the kids. Whereas Blades the Bruin looks like he is nightmare fuel a little bit.
Yeah.
Those eyes are haunting.
Yeah,
And,
he just looks like an apex predator.
exactly. And then, yeah, a bear is gonna is not. That's not. It's not even. It's not even a fight. No contest here. It's got to be Blades the Bruin.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Iceberg the Penguin kind of looks like he took like 5 melatonin, but he's not asleep yet. Like he's kind of fighting it off, so he's like, "Ugh." And then I
It,
mean, his name's Iceberg the Penguin. Like that's not even a scary name. And
exactly.
they got Blades. It's his name isn't Blade. It's plural
Blaze.
Blades.
Blades.
Like it's like they don't want a cool name. They just want to pick the scariest thing they saw. So like they were probably in their kitchen, like, all right, what do we name our mascot? And he's like, knives. Oh, Blades. What about Blades? So yeah, I gotta go with the Bruins on that one.
Yeah, that one there seems like it's no contest.
And then hopefully next week we have some more ties because I really do enjoy these mascot
Yeah,
fights
no,
with
there's
the Ducks.
definitely a little fun little a nice fun segment here. I like it. Let's move on to another. That's all you got.
Yeah, yeah. There's only 2 ties right now.
All right, so let's move into doing a little panic meter here for did 4 teams, one from each division. I want to spread the love around the United States and Canada here. So let's start, Alec. So we got this. We got a panic meter. Just one, two, three. One being no need to panic. It's we're overreacting to whatever events that cause us to talk about this. Two, like maybe begin to worry, and three is an all-out panic. Like I don't even
Like
know what I'm saying.
SpongeBob's brain. I have to go with that.
Exactly. What's that name? What's that name?
Yeah. what
So
sport are we playing?
let's start up north. What
North North, yeah.
the team that I think we'll talk about today is going to be the Edmonton Oilers. So they're third place in their division,
Mm-hmm.
but after a 3 game set against Toronto, I'm beginning to have some doubts on their ability to really get it done. Because I don't know if you saw it, they got their ass kicked at home against in a 3 game set
Yeah,
against Toronto. They lost all 3 games by a combined score of 13-1.
that's just a big fart noise.
So, Alec, is it time to panic at Edmonton?
So I'm gonna have to go with a 2 here on the panic meter. Don't go crazy. Don't start clearing house, but also you should be a little concerned. I mean, um, the Leafs are the hottest team in their division right now, but also losing 3 in a row to them. A buddy of mine actually put a poll in one of our group me's. Um, didn't list either of the names. He just said Team one beat Team two 2 times in a row, and they're going to play them a third time. Which team wins? Team one, obviously, being the Leafs. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's pretty hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. No way, no way." And then my friend was like, "Buddy, McJesus isn't going to lose 3 in a row to a Maple Leafs team without Pablo Matthews." So that
Yeah,
got me
this is
all
without Matthews too.
fired up. Put a couple ducks on the Oilers, and they lost 6-1, I think.
Yeah, they lost 4-0, 3-0, then 6-1.
Yeah, I was referring to the 6-1 game.
Yeah, so
And that was just it's not
I
even
was
like
on
it
that
was a
side. I
close
was probably
game.
on that your buddy's side there with there's no way they're going to lose 3 in a row, right? And they got their ass kicked for a third time in a row.
Yeah, and it was the worst game of the 3. I mean, I it's not even like that one goal they scored was timely. It was like 4-0. They put one in and then they gave up another 2. So, I'd say a number 2 on the panic meter. Don't start clearing house, but you definitely got to figure something out. I mean, you're still in
Yeah,
playoff
no, they're
contention.
still they're the 3 seed now in the Northern Division.
It just doesn't
Um,
seem sustainable,
I'll
like to
probably
make
I'm
a
gonna
deep run.
agree with you with a 2, but it's gonna be a high 2. So
Okay.
we're creeping on 3 just because. Yeah, they've been playing well. McDavid, is doing his thing, but in those 3 games, Toronto had no issues just shutting down McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
On
Drysdale had an
whether
assist the last game
they
of
were
that
on
set.
together or they were separate lines, they were locking them both down. So that's gonna that I think that's a big issue come playoff time. Because come the playoff time, we're gonna see it all the time where they're gonna tell whether it's maybe Morgan Riley's pair or like whoever, like, hey, if you see Connor or Leon get on the ice, You get on the ice
Don't look
too.
at the puck. Just make sure they're not open. Yeah,
Yeah, just
it's not
play
sustainable.
play them, not the puck, and then like it's an issue. Like I've seen it all the time. Like with these great teams that win cups, they win cups because they can shut down this team's their big line. The teams that have
And
like
most of
these.
the times, they don't have a significant superstar or superstar pair. They have the
Mhm,
depth. They have people
exactly.
like freaking Pat Maroon that looks like he should be playing football instead of hockey.
The
He's a
big rig.
two-time Stanley Cup champion because he's on teams that have depth. And
Hmm.
I mean, you can't really win a 7-game series, was it 4 times with only
Yeah,
2 players?
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I agree with you.
So I would I'm creeping up on a three, but I think they can a three not
They
being
have
that
Adam Larson,
they
so don't be a 3 yet, but
I would
definitely a
say
2.
a three. We got creeping on a three in that like we're not gonna sell the house obviously, but they do have to get something. They got to bring some talent in.
Maybe, yeah,
In
but not like a Jack Eichel. They need like
a Kyle
depth.
Palmieri.
Yeah, they need depth. They don't need because they have their two
They need
superstars.
solid role players on the second and third line to like that can score outside of that top line.
They need guys that will take two
Like
mil, 2 mil a year, 3-year deal,
there was that
and
couple
just be
couple
happy
weeks
with it.
ago they won a game and it was the first game they had won since 2017 that either
Oh yeah,
McDavid or Drysdale didn't score or at least record a point.
I think it was the first game since November of 2017 that the Oilers was it won a game without either McDavid or Draisaitl recording a point.
Yeah,
I think it was November
and
15th.
there's been plenty of times where where McDavid's hurt or Drysdale's hurt, where it's only one of them, and they're still at least recording a point a game. So that's going to be problematic in the playoffs. That's why I think at least as of right now, they're an easy first round exit in the Northern Division. A little
Yeah,
little mini playoffs there.
they'll
So
probably if they stay a 3, they'll play the 2 who is Montreal, I think. So they'll
no,
probably
actually, the two is Winnipeg.
oh, okay.
Winnipeg has caught fire
So they'll
despite
probably
the ass
steal
kicking they got by
they would probably
Montreal.
steal 1 or 2 against Winnipeg and then they'd be donezo.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a
Cuz
series and all, but they're not going to at least go far at all with what they got right now.
so what other divisions you got on this panic meter thing?
Let's go to the Central Division. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Stars. So, they've been struggling this year. They are 12 points back of the playoff spot, but they do have six less games played than fourth place Chicago. They have
Okay.
a lot. I think they have five overtime losses, so they are kind of competing, but they're not. They're not getting it done.
Yeah, so I'd honestly put them at a 1. I First of all, they got a super late start. I think they're the second to last team to play a game
Mm-hmm.
other than what was it, Florida.
It was them in Florida. I think they played together.
They had a shortened season. They lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 7th game of the Stanley Cup Finals, was it?
I think it was six, but
Either way,
they
long
competed.
series. They played a huge Tampa Bay Lightning team, and they didn't even come home with the cup. So they're injured, they're tired, super short season. There's no preseason because of COVID. Their team gets COVID. Some of them might even have lasting effects from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Um, and, they still got great players. They have still a young core. I don't think there's any reason to be worrying. And they're also in the most competitive division, I personally think, in the whole league. So if they miss the playoffs by a couple points, I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's an off year. It's a really weird year. They'll be fine next year.
I'm not quite on the same page as you here. I'm kind of beginning to worry a little bit. Um, just because of some of their. Actually, I don't know.
The only worry for
I'd be a little.
me,
Probably at a two because they do have some guys that are, getting up there a little bit. Not getting old, but they're getting up. They're getting a little older, and they're gonna have to get some contracts situated soon. Whether they're either gonna have to ship out some money to give guys money to their younger guys like he's gonna and them, or you keep riding out with Sagan and Ben. So
I am looking at their stats right now. Their defense is one of the like top
mhm. You're gonna
percentile
expect
in the
that from
league.
Dallas, like they've been
Where
past few
they're
years.
lacking though is shots on goal.
Mm-hmm.
28th in the league on shots on goal.
They're not creating chances at all. That's why I'm kind of thinking that all right, maybe it's beginning to come time for a rebuild. Like because they can get a ton for Sagan and or Ben,
True.
like
True.
a ton, especially from Sagan. He's still 29 years old, so um,
Yeah, I wouldn't panic
I'm getting a
yet,
little worried about him, but definitely
but
not as much as Edmonton.
yeah, no. I'd say if they are a two, they're like a low two, high one,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not something I'm worried about yet.
All right, now here is a good one for you, Alec. We're going to the West. The St. Louis Blues. Now,
Um,
before you start,
I want to hear your thoughts first.
I got a couple things. I'm going to give a couple stats first, and then I can go into my spiel.
Damn, I didn't think you were gonna do this.
Yeah, no, I'm doing it though. So they're sitting at second place in the West, which is that's awesome. 31 points, 14, 8, and 3. They're doing solid this year. But if you really look into it, they are 7-1-1 against the Ducks and the Sharks. Which, if you're a good team, you got to beat the lower teams in the division, of course. But they're 7-7-2 against the rest of the division, which includes obviously the Golden Knights, the Avalanche, the Kings, the Wild, teams that you're going to be playing in the postseason. I know they're a little banged up too, and they sit at a +2 goal differential, which is last among teams that are currently qualified for a playoff spot. And for comparison, Alec, the Rangers have a +3 goal differential.
I feel like you're coming at me right now.
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
um, so you can't use injury as an excuse for
Part of
everything.
the argument, though. I mean,
I would say that injuries pretty much plaguing their team and is the main factor. Uh, they're missing pretty much their whole top six. They're missing a bunch of. They're missing ready Colton Parayko, Jaden Schwartz, Robert Thomas, Oscar Sundquist got injured last game. Um, they just got back Vladimir Tarasenko, who hasn't played in like 28 weeks. They're playing the Sharks tonight when we're recording this podcast, which is Monday night. He hasn't played in the Shark Tank, I guess you could call it, since Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals in 2019.
is that the
So
hand
like,
pass, or that was
no,
same
hand
series?
pass was
That
Game 3
series.
because I was at that
That
game.
series, though, right?
Same series, yeah. I mean, they're just missing so many people. Half of their team hasn't even played in the NHL until this season. So I'm smashing the panic button. I'm at a 3, but if they can make it through all this adversity, I have a lot of faith in their head coach Craig Berube. He
Hmm.
brought the first Stanley Cup to their city. I think if they can make it through this and people get healthy, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be scary. They'll be up there with Colorado and Vegas only if they could get healthy and they could make it into the playoffs with what they have now. Because right now it's essentially an AHL roster. So
Yeah, I mean they're still sitting in second. The one thing that I forgot to mention is that they have at least 3 games more played than every other team or every team that's really chasing them.
yeah,
Um,
that's the only thing I'm worried about. And
like
they have a lot of must.
they're 4 points above fourth place Minnesota, but they've played 3 more games than them. So,
So
um,
they have a lot of must wins coming up
mhm.
against teams that aren't that good. And if they could scrape by, just grab any points they can against the teams that are scary, like Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, LA, I think they'll be okay when they start to reevaluate players in 5 to 6 weeks. They just need to fight for every single point they can get, and I think they'll be able to make the playoffs. And as they get healthy, they'll be fine. So that's all I'm praying for is that they could just make it to the playoffs, and we'll go from there. but I've been worrying every single game. So
It's all about getting hot at the right time. So
yeah,
if they can
again,
get healthy come playoff time, I know this is going to be a very dangerous team.
they're
So I think there's
gonna
no
be
really no
really
need to panic yet. I think it's definitely a one for me at this point.
yeah. It's just that I'm a hardcore fan,
Obviously.
so right now it's not that I'm not worrying about them long term at all. It's just right now I'm just pretty worried uh, that maybe they won't get those lucky bounces you need because being the
Mm-hmm.
best team isn't it. It's also getting those lucky bounces, people staying healthy. We saw the Tampa Bay Lightning be a first round exit against the Blue Jackets 2 years ago. So it's more than just being a good hockey team.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think that's well put. And I had one for the East, but I kind of already went over that. It was Buffalo, so
Yeah,
obviously
we don't
that
need to talk about them
obviously
here.
that's a full three there. So we can
Is
move
there any other
on.
team? Maybe
Um,
we could.
I think that's really all I got. Those are the three like main ones that I got through looking around the standings and whatnot. So
Okay, cool. And then
I'm gonna actually pause it
think
real
we have
quick.
to.
Alrighty, now let's move on to the Sin Bin, our favorite weekly segment. Alec, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I just think it's funny because like we kind of just complain the whole podcast, and then we just have a segment for more complaining, but we just give it a fun name. It's, but
What else are we gonna do?
so my sin bin is the person that schedules NHL games. Gonna give him a 2 minute penalty for uh I don't know, maybe incompetence.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
like
just
that.
that every single game there'll be 10 games in a day. 8 of them will be at 7 o'clock. One of them will be at 9. One of them will be at 10:30. Like, can we just spread them out a little bit more?
Have you seen tomorrow's schedule?
Yeah, tomorrow there's like 12 games and they're all at 7.
Yeah, there's literally so one, two, three, four, five. There's 9 games tomorrow. 7 of them are at 7 o'clock, and then one at 7:30, and then one at
Oh,
8:30.
I'm happy they spread it out for us so we don't miss any of
Oh,
the
never
action.
mind, never mind. Actually, there's one at 6 o'clock. So there's one at six. Why is there a 6 o'clock game on whatever? 6 o'clock, six at 7 o'clock, one at 7:30, and seven, and then like no
And
late night games, no 10 o'clock games for us. Come on,
no, the latest game is 8:30 and
exactly.
it's
That's
in Dallas,
ridiculous.
which means it's at 7:30. Is Dallas an hour behind or
Yeah,
2
that
hours
that sounds
behind?
that sounds about right. But no,
Either way
that's
though, like
doesn't affect us.
dude, by 10 o'clock we don't have any more hockey. And
I
it's only a
know.
Tuesday.
I love to save a bad night with a nice sneaky 10:30 same game part or like maybe a couple parlays, whatever, end of the night.
Like if I were hired by the NHL to schedule games, I know most of these games are Eastern time zone games too, where the market, I guess 7 o'clock is prime time. But do maybe 2 4 o'clock games, 2 6 o'clock games,
Yeah, I like
hit
this.
like four at 7 o'clock, but then spread out, do one at 8, one at 9:30, one at 10:30
Mhm.
to just spread it out more so people can those who are fans of hockey can watch as much as they can, or those who are gamblers can gamble as much as they can. And just, I don't know, they just cram it all in at once, and it bugs me. It's always bugged me so much.
You can always love a nice afternoon bet during the week. It's always fun. So
But yeah,
maybe at some point they'll figure out that hey, if we spread the games out a little bit, maybe more people will watch.
you never know. It could expand the market, but I guess
Exactly.
it has to do with TV contracts and stuff. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it. I'm just here
Yeah,
to
I don't
say
know. I
that
don't
I
know all
hate it.
about that.
So, but who do you got today?
So my sim bin, I'm giving out a 5 minute major
Whew.
for a combination of negligence and incompetence to none other than Jim Benning, who is the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks.
Hmm.
So I guess he did his little state of the team address midway through the season, where this man refused to take any accountability for the disaster that is Canucks this season. And it's not like it's the team underperforming after years of success. This has been a recurring thing with the Canucks. So this is his 7th season as the Canucks GM. They have made the playoffs twice in that span, and that's coming off 2 years after a Stanley Cup final appearance in 2011 against Boston.
when they burnt the city down.
Yeah, in a loss, obviously, as one does. I get it. I get that. But he had the audacity to say, "Oh, we need 2 more years." Like you've been there 7 years. You've got some studs you've drafted, and you still need 2 more years. Like, come on. At some point, you got to give the fans something. Make a move.
Yeah.
Bring someone in. Um, Let me see. I got some notes here.
They probably have one of the best young defensemen in the league, and they're only 5 points ahead of the Ottawa Senators.
Like they're only 4 points back of fourth place. And when
Yeah.
a reporter asked him, "What do you think of your playoff chances?" he said, "Oh, we live day to day." So that really inspires a lot of hope for the fans, right, Mr. Benning? Oh my God, get him the fuck out of here! Because
You know who says day to day? A head coach that knows his player is going to be out for 6 weeks. So that sounds
exactly,
like he knows they're not going to make the playoffs, but he doesn't want to say it, which is abysmal if you're a GM. If you're a GM, you want to be confident as ever. You want your players and coaches and staff to want to take a bullet for you. And this guy's just out here saying, we'll see. Do
some
you
other
not want to be there? Do you not want to win a Stanley Cup?
exactly
Isn't
like
that what your job is?
his job is to build a Stanley Cup ready team, and the Canucks have a great history. Great market too. Like
Yeah, the
it's
Sedin
you
twins.
kind of have the Seattle market there. I mean, for now, but that'll be a nice rivalry when it
I like
becomes
their jerseys too, the
when it comes to
Kraken
fruition.
jerseys.
But another excuse he made. All he did was excuse for 35 minutes. He just bitched about how it's not his fault and that give us some time. You've had enough time. Another excuse he made. He said it's hard to make trades in a pandemic, which man it might be true, but I mean, ask Columbus and Ottawa, Columbus and Winnipeg. I think they've really figured something
Ask
out.
St. Louis.
Ask St. Louis. Ask a few freaking teams. Like
Ask
if you
most of
want to
the
make a
league.
trade, you can make a trade. I get it's going to be some time, like before a guy can really play for you because of, especially going from the States to Canada. That's whatever. But the fact it doesn't affect you making the trade,
Yeah,
going
not at
out
all.
there. Like at least make some fucking
The
calls, dude.
logistics of the trade are the ones that are affected, but actually making it, you don't. You just
It
shoot over
seems like
some
he's
text.
not
Let me
even
know.
making calls or anything. Like, hey, like, is this guy? We could work something out or whatever. But
It's
and
just like,
hold up, one more excuse that he made real quick. He said, he said made excuse about like, oh, like our cap space and the flat cap is a mess, as if he did not create that dumpster fire that is their payroll right now. Like it's not my fault you're paying $5.5 million to a backup goalie. It's not my fault you're paying $2 million to a goalie who hasn't played for you in like however many years in
he's also
Luongo.
not the only GM that has
They're
to deal
still
with it.
paying Roberto Luongo. I don't think he's played
he's
there in 8 years.
he has his feet kicked up in Florida right now, or wherever he's at.
Like, yeah,
But
he retired, great, and he's still getting paid by Vancouver. But this man had like, it's okay if like it haven't been the best GM, whatever. There's
he's
plenty of
not the only
guys who
GM
have
dealing
done
with a
much.
flat cap either.
Exactly,
Every other
everyone's in the
team
same
is.
boat as you, and yet you're making these excuses like you didn't you didn't dig this hole for yourself, and also just you gotta at some point accept some responsibility. Hey, I made some fucking stupid moves. Well,
It's just that
which really he hasn't done too bad. He's got some decent moves in, but in the
in
day
my
they're not performing, and at some point you got to take some of that blame, not
in
make
my tenure,
excuses.
I've noticed that when head coaches or GMs even when they kind of start to not give answers and like not sort of take accountability for stuff, it kind of preludes them being fired. Like when they just don't have answers, and you could kind of tell in press conferences, they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna take it day to day.
They're
Yeah,
just dodging
this,
answers in the
yeah,
back of
that.
it. In the back of their head, they know
Yeah,
I'm
the pucks
gone.
just didn't fall for us tonight. Yeah, like that's usually comes before a firing.
I mean,
So
I get it. Not every GM can beat Jeff Gorton. Have that negotiating skill, that intimidation factor. But
You don't need that. You just need a little bit of charisma. You just need to make. You could be a robot and give
you
the right answers. I'm not saying
just
that. I'm
don't
just
just
saying
don't be placing blame on other things and like deflecting from the real issues.
it just seems like he doesn't want to be GM anymore.
Yeah,
It's kind
fire.
of yeah. So
I'm gonna start a petition that Alec and I take over in Vancouver.
I mean, I don't know much, but I think
Judging by my track record in NHL in past EA Sports NHL games, I am an excellent GM.
I'm not. I said the Rangers were going to be the best team in the East this year, and I'm not looking too good on that.
Remember who I said was going to be the best team in the Canada this year?
Didn't you say
I
Vancouver?
said Vancouver.
Dude, I think I said Edmonton. That's not. That's possible.
That's still there. I mean, they've done very well. We'll see if that. I'm very excited to see their next matchup against Toronto, to
Yeah.
see if that 3 game set is a little flash in the pan, or if they do have real big issues.
Do you remember who you picked for the Central? While we're at it, we already did
Central,
the first two divisions.
Central, I picked Carolina.
I think I did too. I think we both had the Canes.
That's looking pretty good.
And then lastly, in the West, you had the Avs and I had the Blues. Both
Which
plausible.
again, they're at least they're in the playoffs. Those two teams.
Yeah. So that's the only division that we, or that in the Central.
Hey, the Rangers getting hot though.
All right. And then yeah, let's get to
Let's
picks
do
and
some
our
picks.
friendly little wager that we're
That's right.
starting to get
So
over.
before we get into our picks for Tuesday, March 9th, someone's birthday is March 9th. I forget who it is. I think someone we both know. I forget though.
I'm not good with birthdays, that's why I have Facebook.
So, obviously we want to make a bet with the Rangers and Blues, but, it's kind of tough because they don't play each other this season. If they're going to play each other, it's not going to be till at least the Stanley Cup semifinals, I guess we'll call it, because it's not really a conference final. So,
True,
um,
true.
the Rangers and Blues both play on the same day this coming Saturday, the 13th of March here.
Saturday the 13th.
And both teams are
Unlucky.
playing probably the best team. And actually, no, they are playing each the number one team in their division, where the Blues play the Golden Knights and the Rangers play the Boston Bruins. And so to preface this, to give some stats here, Vegas is second in goals allowed, average at 2.1. Boston is fourth at 2.4. The Blues are 10th in goals for at 3.2. And the Rangers are 20th in goals for at 2.8, but they are looking better. I probably should have set the bet first that it's whoever scores more goals.
Yeah. So it's not if the Blues win and the Rangers lose, it's the Blues score 4 goals, the Rangers score 3 goals, I win the bet.
Because
It's
they're both
about
going up against strong defensive teams, like obviously both top 4 in the league in goals allowed average. So pretty fair playing field, I would say.
the only thing we didn't discuss though is what are we wagering this time? I don't want to drink another Mad Dog assuming that I do lose again because that was disgusting. And if you guys saw the TikTok, it's at Caps on Sports on TikTok. I had to cut the clip up so much because I can't chug for starts. And number two, I hadn't had a Mad Dog in maybe 4 years, and I forgot how gross it was, and I almost threw up a few times, and I did it at like 2 o'clock, and I felt tipsy at 2 o'clock on like a Tuesday. So, not doing Mad
You
Dog.
love to see
again.
it.
Not doing Mad Dog again.
All right, so do you want to keep it on that same vibe, or do we want to like? So I don't have much on.
How about loser has to buy like a women's medium pink shirt of the winner's team.
Yeah.
So like if the Rangers win the bet, I'll
and
buy
wear
like,
it out one night.
I'll wear like a pink V-neck Rangers shirt and I'll wear it out and I'll post a picture on my Instagram with it.
And I will do the exact same thing.
You have to post it on your personal Instagram.
Oh, of course. Follow me at SamMean35 for that content right there on Instagram.
All right, so just to clarify, the Blues are playing Vegas. The Rangers are playing Boston, both on Saturday, March 13th. The team that scores the team that scores more points against their respective opponent wins the bet. So it's essentially head to head. The loser of this bet, Sam's backing the Rangers. Obviously, I'm backing the Blues. The loser of this bet will have to wear whatever size is tight and cute. Has to be a V-neck, maybe pink. I'll start looking at ones for you soon.
I'll send you
Um,
some links.
you have to wear it out on a night as soon as you get the shirt. Obviously, wear your mask. Be respectful of CDC
Of
guidelines,
course.
and you have to post a picture of it on Instagram and uh, and make the caption about how I'm so much better than you and I'm so much smarter than you and that you smell like raw onions.
I mean, my raw onion smell would be a little thicker had our first bet. You won that. I mean, so far this is our third bet we've made against each other. I am 2-0 so far, so maybe third time's a charm for old Alec over there, or maybe I keep dominating in this in these friendly wagers here.
I'm
So,
really worried actually because I pink isn't my colors.
hey, I mean, like you don't have to win if you got a shootout in Vegas that night or in. I'm
Ooh,
not sure where
true.
it is exactly, so
I don't
I
even
mean,
know.
I can literally check right
It's
now,
too
but
soon in the future.
it's gonna be. I mean, I put on a little bit of weight since like the high school days, obviously. So it's gonna be a good look.
All right. So while you're just looking that up, we're gonna get into some picks. Like we said, Tuesday, March 9th. Great slate of picks. So to start out, I got Flyers puck line against Buffalo. That is plus 108. I always like the Flyers. Like we said, Buffalo stinks on ice. So I just think there's great value there.
Yeah, no, honestly, taking the team playing the Sabres puck line is a pretty safe bet at this point because they are a dumpster fire. So yeah, I like that. I like that a whole lot.
All right. And then my second pick is up north. We're going to take over 6.5 points in the Leafs Jets game. I just they do have decent defenses and all that, but I've been looking at the board recently and I see like a trend where there's just a lot of goals in all of the Canadian games. So I just
Oh
feel like
yeah,
their offenses are so much stronger than their defenses, and I think over 6.5 is a nice play here.
yeah. I mean, like look at this past Saturday's game between the Jets and the Canadians. I mean, the Jets were on fire and then they lost 7-1, but there's a lot of firepower up north.
Yeah.
So
And then lastly, my third pick is Chicago money line. I think they're playing the Stars. Let me double check.
they are plus
Yeah.
115.
So I like a nice little underdog story. Dallas is having some trouble right now. Uh, and Chicago, they're just playing good hockey.
They're a
And
good team.
yeah, so I love Chicago there. I'm going to say my favorite play is the Flyers play, and
Hmm.
Chicago is my second favorite one. And then that over is the one you just want to dabble a little bit in. You don't want to, put your mortgage on it. But yeah, Chicago, that's my last one. They're plus 115. So
Yeah, so all those picks there, Alec, are at plus money, at least according to DraftKings. So
I'm a big underdog guy.
love seeing some value there. So I got four picks for you. Two at plus money, two at minus money. Sorry, I couldn't give you all the value in the world. Let us start with. Well, I guess I'll do five because I'm gonna back you with that Flyers pick.
Okay.
Well, I'll get four of my own. I'm gonna stick with that Jets Maple Leafs game, and I'm gonna go a little bold here. Go with the Surging Winnipeg Jets at plus 152.
Ooh.
I love the way they're playing right now. Um, I mean, they're probably the hottest team in hockey. They had a very big slip up this past Saturday against Montreal, but the way they've been playing prior to that, they won the 6 or 7 games prior to that. I like them to get it back rolling again because they're right behind Toronto for that. But not right behind, but they're 3 or 4 back. So No, I'll take them plus 150. Love the value there, so let's roll with it. Next, we will go to the Florida Panthers at the Columbus Blue Jackets. I love this Florida team, man. They got talent everywhere.
They're just fun to watch.
No one will tell you about it because like no one really knows they exist even. So, but we'll take them at minus one twenty
Yeah.
five against on the road at Columbus. I think there's a good amount of value there, especially seeing where those two teams are right now. Another on the road at Columbus, but I'm not too worried about that. Let's go with the Panthers. We're gonna stay at that 7 o'clock slate, one of the six or seven
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 o'clock
o'clock
slate.
games.
Wait, which game?
Yeah, no, there's so many now. We're gonna go with the Bruins at the Islanders. I'm gonna take the Islanders at plus 105
We
at
forgot to
home.
mention it, but that Barzell goal the other night, holy
Yeah,
crap.
that Matt Barzal goal was definitely the goal of the season thus far. One of the
We still
best I've ever
have
seen.
we still have a few more months, but that's probably the goal of the year. I mean,
Oh yeah,
what he did, but also the defenseman was all over his hands
the
too. He was
entire
able
time from
insane goal.
from when he entered the zone till he scored, like the defender was on top of him.
He had at least
That
one
was one of the
person
best I've
on him.
ever seen. If someone can beat that this year, then I don't even know what my
I think
reaction is
the
going to
only
be.
way it gets beat is a Svechnikov Michigan goal. But if he does it twice in one game.
I know Crosby tried like the backhand
Yeah, that
Michigan
was
goal.
pretty
That was
cool.
almost sweet, but I'm gonna
And
go
then
with the Islanders.
a rookie tried to do it. It would have been his first career NHL goal. That would have been funny.
Oh my god! First handshake goal, you go the
I think
little
it was
Michigan.
a player on the Sharks. They might have actually been playing the Blues.
Yes. I forget who it is, but I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that would.
But
I
I digress.
could you imagine
Keep going
being?
with the Islanders pick here. The Islanders have been rolling. I think they've won 7 of 8, and if they're not first, they're right behind. Yeah, they are currently first in the East. They're at 34 points to Washington's 32. Boston has 29, but granted, Boston has three less games played. But Islanders, they're not the most flashy team, obviously, outside of Barzell, obviously. But
Yeah, they just get
they
stuff
play
done.
they play well as a team. They're rock solid. As hard as it is for me to say as a Ranger fan, they're a very good hockey team. I'll take them even money tomorrow night.
They want to always give you the best highlights, but they fundamentally they're always going to be very sound. And
They
Barry
find ways
Trotz
to
is
win.
always going to
Barry,
be all
yeah,
over
exactly.
them. Yeah.
It's Barry Trotz. He's one of the better coaches of all
To this
time. So
day, I still can't believe Washington let him go. It had to have been something that we just don't know about. Because how do you let him go?
exactly.
I give him all the money in the world. I don't care. He turned them around, right? Weren't they
Yeah, I
pretty
mean, they were like
pretty average before he came there? I think.
yeah, because like right before he got there was when Tavares was there, and they were solid, but like
And then
never
that
anything,
snake
never
slithered on up
even.
north.
I don't know, let's relax there. Everyone will get out of Long Island if they want to. If they have a chance to get out of Long Island, they're gonna get out of Long
Dude, if
Island.
I'm
So
Tavares, I'm leaving with my butt out, bro. Nobody wants to be there. Worst traffic in the world.
exactly. And my fourth and final pick of the night. This seems kind of simple. It's the Lightning minus 1.5 at Detroit. It's only minus 120, so it's actually like not too bad. What can I say? The Tampa very good. Detroit not very
Very bad.
good. So it's that simple, really. Like it's
Good
an
team
easy pick
beat
for
bad
me.
team.
Yeah, good team, bad team.
Okay, and then I forgot to mention, we all know I like to shoot for the stars here, take the craziest bets possible. I have hit an exact score already, and you guys have known me for what, 6 episodes, 7 episodes.
On the first episode, you got an exact score bet.
So I'm gonna take Boston Bruins. They're playing the New York Islanders, like you mentioned, on Tuesday night, March 9th. I'm gonna take David Pasternak to score 2+ goals at plus 650 on DraftKings.
All
I
right,
don't know. Just seems fun. I
I
like to
like it.
take ridiculous props, and taking the first goal score is only fun to do when you're at the game. So
Oh yeah,
I'm
of
not going to do
course.
that. I could tell you that I've been to many Devils games and I've taken many first goal props, and I haven't hit many. But we like to have fun here. So David Pasternak, 2+ goals, plus 750. Tuesday night at 7. Be there or be square. And that's all I got for you.
All right, so I think that's all we got, Alec.
Yeah, that's all we got. We had a little bit of making up to do, but we'll be back on a nice schedule, and looking forward to the rest of the season. It's been a fun one so far. We've seen some crazy things. We've seen some not so crazy things. We've learned that a bear would beat a penguin in a fight to the death, and
I would hope so.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so thank y'all for watching or listening. Um, for Sam, I'm Sam Meehan, Alex Garzinski. Thanks for watching the fourth pair. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Caps on Sports, and visit at or www.capsonsports.com. Buy some merch and whatnot. Meet the crew and all that. And also a little plug for we obviously got March Madness around the corner. Check out the Caps on Sports Twitter page. You can find some information on our. Right now, we have a conference tournament pool. So, if we get 100+ people to join the pool, the winner will receive any item from the shop, free of cost, obviously.
Some
So,
fresh gear too.
yeah, some nice stuff in there. Hop on in, join us. Obviously, you see me and Tyler Blumenstick on the cap rack. We're killing it with the model. So, if you think you can beat me or him, come on, join. Show your stuff.
And another thing is, we're going to be working on getting some fourth pair merch. It's going to take a little bit of while. We don't like to rush stuff like that. You can't rush
Balls in
perfection.
your court now, Stick.
But we're going to work on getting that out. We're going to make sure it's the freshest possible merch out there.
Oh yeah,
because we take pride in our work. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, listening. This has been the fourth pair, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you soon, guys.